What's happening, y'all? It's Justin Lamar, aka Juice Daddy J, and today we're talking about balance. So, first things first, y'all see it, man. Black Mamba, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. I'm wearing the attire today, so I had to start off on that note. But what we're talking about today is balance. Now, balance in a nutshell, I'm sure you've heard yin and yang, maybe feelings versus logic. I like to break it down as emotions versus tangible actions. Now, above me in a moment now, you should be seeing a scale to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. Now, you'll have emotion and tangible action on two different ends, but that middle point is actually where the balance lies, right? So, in order for you to arrive to that middle point, you have to understand each side. The reason I want to speak on balance today is because, at least where I'm from, a lot more people are becoming inductive in our reasoning than deductive. My opinion is not paramount over anyone else's, but I do believe there's power in sharing your experiences, whatever you've learned, any skill sets, etc. So that's just all I'm trying to do. But in a nutshell, inductive reasoning versus deductive reasoning is inductive is specific to general versus deductive is more general than specific. So a small example could be you're in math class and your professor gives you a new equation. Some people are going to take that information and be like, okay, now I know when I'm specifically struggling on this problem, or when I run into a problem of that specific nature tonight on my assignment, I know that this is an equation I can come back to. That's a little bit more inductive. Somebody that might take a more general approach would be deductive, though. They would be somebody that's like, okay, well, I know whenever we hit in content that's around this chapter or things that happen to be around this subject in general, this equation will be something that'll be helpful. So, and neither one of you guys are wrong. But the thing is, you have to understand each side of the deductive and inductive reasoning, right? The general and the particulars to get the best understanding of them both. You do the same thing with your balance, except what we're talking about today when I say balance, I really mean your perspective, your mindset. Now, I'll give you a bigger example for this because balance is everywhere. It's in every decision, it's in everything. So it can feel a bit overwhelming sometimes, I can imagine. Let's just say, for sake of example, a school dance, right? You want to look at the generals first, okay? You would generally say how you feel. Do you want to go? Okay, tangible action. Do you have a way to get there? Do you have a way to go, right? You might look at it as once you're there, okay, are you enjoying yourself? Okay, you look at the tangible action. What are you doing while you're there? Then after the fact, you look at the emotion. How did it make you feel? You know, how was the dance? Tangible action. Did you have a way to get home? Did you have any plans afterwards? See, this is the very general premise, but y'all can imagine how deeply you can unpack this. Let's just go back and try to do it specifically this time. Emotion wise, do you want to go to the school dance? Do you have a date to go to the school dance? Who else do you know that'll be at the school dance? What kind of music will they be playing at the school dance? How will going to a school dance make you feel? These are real specific questions, and it almost sounds like I'm going down a rabbit hole of particulars, right? But this is where I think a lot of people can get caught up, going down the particulars, instead of looking at the general premise. I would have been done with the original example by now, just off of the time I spent breaking down specifics of how you feel before things even got started. Now we could look at the tangible actions. Do you have a way to get there? You know, what's going to be happening once you're there? You know what I'm saying? How are the people there going to be acting? These are questions that kind of come with the tangible action side of things, but they're just as important as to how you feel. Because what I'm trying to help you guys avoid is ending up in a situation, let's say you're at the party, but you didn't identify and break down any of the stuff before you got to the school dance or whatever event I'm talking about, right? Let's say you're at prom and you don't want to be there. I mean, you had the tangible action things down pat. You had a way to get there. You had everything you needed in terms of attire, right? In terms of, you know, whatever tangible action things are needed. But yet, emotionally, you don't want to be there because you don't, for whatever specific reason. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole, but you get what I'm saying. I believe if you were to take more things in a deductive lens than inductive, you'd arrive to a better balance overall. Just simply because you would have a better understanding. Okay, you knew before you came in here you didn't really want to go. So then you would actually be doing things differently. Okay, I might make a tangible action, not staying that long. I'll go, but I won't be there for the first hour, hour and a half. You see what I'm saying? This is how you're able to make some of those balanced decisions as things go along. One way you can tell somebody has somewhat of an off balance in terms of their perspective, you might hear them say, I feel, or I think, more than you hear them say, I believe. And what I mean by that is, when you go on the emotional side, especially if you're going down the inductive path of just specifics, especially how you feel emotionally, a lot of times people will come back and replies talking about, I feel like, I feel like, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? There'll be some people that may or may not be intentionally trying to separate their emotions, right, from whatever it is that's going on. But let's say that they have more thought process power in what it is they like to do, how it is they like to get things done, certain things. So they might look at things as, I mean, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that, and I think, but it could be void of the feeling, the emotional part there. So trying to get that balance is very important. And I believe the best part to get that balance is to combine the emotion and the logic. I feel and I think turns into I believe when you combine the two. But the reason I brought all of that up again, guys, is because I want us to get more deductive in how we reason and break things down. So that way we could get a more general understanding of things before we start making specific gestures or pointing fingers or whatever it is that you want to throw out there. And you guys will hear me from time to time say this, but life is not complicated. Life is simple. It's life's circumstances that makes things complicated. For sake of this example, you see how breaking down the dance and going here and there, when it was just general, it was pretty easy. But the more and more details you tried to add in there from the different individuals, it became more convoluted, more complicated. You can find yourself in ruts like this in life, though. Not even just, it was a school dance. Imagine this every event that you've been invited to for the past year or two. You see what I'm saying? Things like that are not only becoming habitual, but they're becoming part of your personality and part of your persona. It's definitely becoming predictable as part of your behavior. And so in order to figure out some of those things, well, first you have to balance your mindset. I appreciate you guys watching my video. Feel free to comment and engage and let your thoughts be heard as well so that we can get a collective discussion going. But also, thank you for making it this far in any of my videos. And as always, please do leave a like, maybe even subscribe. But until next time, y'all, peace.